In 1959, a 16-year-old Bobby Fischer faced one of the most feared attacking players in chess history, Mikhail Tal. Tal would go on to become world champion and was famous for his brilliant sacrifices and relentless attacks. But in this remarkable game, Fischer produced a masterpiece of precision and positional perfection that many consider one of the greatest games of his career. This is Bobby Fischer versus Mikhail Tal, the perfect game.
This is the most popular starting move in chess. Players win more games with the Sicilian defense than any other first move. Developing the knight toward the center in this variation of the Sicilian defense. Black opens up the light-squared bishop and controls the central dark squares. White offers to trade in the center, giving up a center pawn for more active pieces. This trade gives black 2 central pawns versus 1 central pawn for white. White recaptures the pawn and activates the knight, in return for having 1 central pawn versus black's 2 central pawns. Black develops the knight toward the center and attacks the undefended white pawn. White defends the pawn and starts to develop on the queen side. This advance prepares to take space on the queen side and also restricts white's minor pieces. White develops the bishop to an aggressive diagonal where it helps control the center and attacks an important pawn. Black controls the center and allows the dark-squared bishop to develop. Continuing with opening theory, a very solid choice. Yes, classic stuff right out of the book. Castling gets the king out of the center of the board while also developing a rook. With this move, black is now ready to castle on the king side. A solid central advance that gains influence and restricts counterplay. Both kings are castled and ready for the middle game. This weakens white's pawn structure. The better move was to develop a bishop and attack the center. Black has a backward pawn which can be a weakness. This misses a better way to attack the knight with a pawn. This moves the knight to safety. The threat on the pawn becomes more serious with this move. This protects an underdefended pawn that is under attack. Developing the knight and increasing influence in the center. Moving the bishop gives white more flexibility in the middle game. The knight is kicked by a pawn and must now move or be captured. Only one good move here and you spotted it. After all captures, this is an equal trade. A straightforward recapture. Great find. This was the only move that works. This move steps the knight out of danger and keeps material balance. This misses a better way to capture a knight that was threatening to win material. The best option was to recapture a piece. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. White's recapture simultaneously activates another piece. Black develops further. This misses a better way to defend a pawn that was under attack. This allows the opponent to pin a defender of a pawn. The better move was to pin a defender of a pawn. This misses a better way to move a queen to safety. The best option was to attack a pawn chain. Solid move, no complaints there. Black's bishop has moved to a square with greater activity and control. This misses a better way to bring the last piece into the game. The better move was to double rooks on a single file. Advancing the pawns in front of the king can compromise the king's safety. Only one good move here and you spotted it. With this move, Black fights back against central space. That pawn was free for the taking. A clear recapture. A straightforward recapture. A clear recapture. A straightforward recapture. That's a curious move. Not bad, but not the best either. This allows the opponent to win a rook by pinning a piece to the king. This misses an opportunity to win a rook by pinning a piece to the king. The piece finds a new active square. Very strong indeed, it's a solid choice. This loses a rook. This reveals a check on the king. This evades the check from the queen. Black will be winning a rook with that fork. This calmly removes the rook from an immediate threat. This threatens to checkmate the king. This stops the opponent from being able to checkmate the king. That was a free rook. This makes a passed pawn. Black can win material through a fork with the right follow-up from here. This captures a bishop that checked the king. Takes back. This leads to losing a rook. Black will be winning a rook with that fork. This steps away from the checking queen. Recaptures from a previous move. This calmly removes the pawn from an immediate threat. This move sets up a fork on two valuable targets. A forced move, no other option on the board. A strong move that increases the pressure on the pawn. That's a super strong option. Right on target, a very strong option. Yes, very strong play, a solid choice. That was a free pawn. This move steps the pawn out of danger and keeps material balance. Black will be winning a pawn with that fork. Very strong, one of the best moves. That was a free pawn. This permits the opponent to force eventual checkmate. This is still on the road to checkmate. That pawn was free for the taking. The passed pawn moves towards its goal. This continues the checkmate threat. That's right on the money. A very strong option. This continues down the road to checkmate. Very strong indeed, it's a solid choice. This continues the checkmate threat. That was a free pawn. This continues down the road to checkmate. A forced move, no other option on the board. And the game is over.